To be a good boxer in MMA, you need strong punches, good footwork, and smart defense. Practice throwing punches like jabs, crosses, hooks, and uppercuts so you can hit hard and fast. Moving your feet is super important to stay balanced and avoid getting hit. Keep your hands up to protect your face and learn to dodge punches by moving your head. Since MMA has kicks and grappling too, you should also practice blocking kicks and defending takedowns while using your boxing skills. Always stay calm and think ahead in a fight so you can outsmart your opponent. Here is the best boxer in every UFC weight class. Joshua Van, nicknamed the Fearless, has quickly established himself as one of the brightest prospects in the UFC flyweight division. At only 23 years old, he combines youthful aggression with technical precision, making him a standout fighter in his weight class. Born in Hakka, Myanmar, Van and his family fled political turmoil, eventually settling in Houston, Texas, when he was 11. His journey to the UFC reflects not just his physical skill, but also his resilience and determination to succeed in the face of adversity. Early career and rise in Fury FC. Van's MMA journey began in Fury FC, where he fought 8 times between 2021 and 2023, amassing a record of 71. During this period, he displayed a penchant for spectacular finishes, including a head kick knockout and a rare calf slicer submission. Notable wins included TKO victories over Angelo Trujillo and Tony Esquivel, as well as a submission of Mario Suazo. These performances earned him the Fury FC Flyweight Championship and set the stage for his UFC debut. Transition to the UFC. In June 2023, Van made his UFC debut on short notice against the experienced Jalgas Zhumagulov. Despite being new to the promotion, Van held his own in a competitive 3-round fight, earning a split decision victory. This win marked him as the first Burmese-born fighter to compete in and win a UFC bout. He followed up with another strong performance at UFC 295, defeating Kevin Borjas by unanimous decision after controlling the fight with superior striking and cage control. Dominant victory at UFC 310. Van's most notable win came at UFC 310, where he faced Cody Durden in a high-stakes flyweight clash. Van showcased his evolution as a fighter, dominating the fight with relentless pressure, precise striking, and effective clinch work. Over 3 rounds, he outlanded Durden significantly, demonstrating improved defense and adaptability. His ability to mix strikes to the head, body, and legs kept Durden off balance throughout the contest. This unanimous decision win solidified Van's place as a serious contender in the division and highlighted his continued growth. Fighting style and strengths. Van is primarily a striker, with 90% of his significant strikes landing while standing. His striking accuracy of 54% reflects his ability to connect cleanly, while his striking output is high at 8.39 significant strikes landed per minute. These numbers are among the best in the UFC, underscoring his offensive prowess. He is also a capable grappler, with 2 submission victories on his record, showing his versatility. Weaknesses and areas for improvement. Despite his successes, Van's aggressive style leaves gaps in his defense. He absorbs an average of 6.09 significant strikes per minute, a rate that highlights his vulnerability to counterattacks. His knockout loss to Charles Johnson in 2024 exposed these defensive lapses, particularly against opponents with strong counterpunching. While his takedown defense, 83%, is excellent, further refining his striking defense will be crucial as he faces higher-ranked opponents in the flyweight division. The future for Joshua Van. With a record of 91, Joshua Van has established himself as one of the top prospects in the UFC's flyweight division. His combination of power, speed, and aggression makes him a fan favorite and a nightmare for opponents. If he continues to evolve and addresses his defensive weaknesses, he has the potential to become a title contender in the near future. As one of the youngest fighters on the UFC roster, time is on his side, and his ceiling appears to be exceptionally high. Joshua Van's career so far is a testament to his skill, heart, and dedication to the sport. With continued development in high-level competition, the Fearless could become a key player in the flyweight division for years to come. Now for Bantamweight, Peter Yan, known as No Mercy, is widely recognized as one of the most skilled strikers in MMA, with a particular emphasis on his boxing. His rise in the UFC's bantamweight division was meteoric. highlighted by his precise, relentless pressure and exceptional technique. Yan's background in boxing is evident in his ability to seamlessly integrate offense and defense, often setting traps for his opponents while maintaining positional awareness. Career highlights. Yan made his UFC debut in 2018 and quickly gained attention with victories over seasoned fighters like Uriah Faber and Jimmy Rivera. His dominant performance against Faber showcased his ability to control the striking exchanges and land a devastating knockout, earning him a Performance of the Night bonus. Yan's crowning moment came at UFC 251 when he captured the vacant Bantamweight title with a fifth-round TKO against Jose Aldo. This fight demonstrated his patience, durability, and ability to wear down opponents over time. Strengths in boxing. Yan's boxing is among the best in MMA due to his advanced footwork, defensive maneuvers, and timing. He excels at using angles to avoid counters while remaining in range to land his shots. For instance, his fight against Jimmy Rivera showed his ability to exploit defensive lapses with pinpoint accuracy, dropping Rivera multiple times. Yan's proactive defensive techniques, such as slipping and pivoting, allow him to maintain control even under heavy pressure. Losses and challenges. Despite his successes, Yan has faced setbacks. His disqualification loss to Aljamain Sterling at UFC 259 for an illegal knee was controversial, as Yan was leading on the scorecards. The rematch at UFC 273 ended in a close split decision loss, highlighting areas for improvement in grappling exchanges and the ability to adapt to Sterling's game plan. Best boxing performances. One of Yan's standout boxing performances came against John Dodson, where he showcased his ability to cut off the cage and overwhelm with combinations. Additionally, his fight against Aldo demonstrated his ability to systematically break down an elite striker using precise body shots and counters. Overall assessment. Petr Yan remains one of the most formidable fighters in the Bantamweight division. His boxing skill, combined with his evolving clinch in defensive wrestling, makes him a complete fighter. While his grappling game has room for improvement, his striking prowess ensures he is a perennial title contender and a nightmare matchup for most opponents. Now featherweight. Ilia Topuria, also known as El Matador, has rapidly become one of the most dangerous and well-rounded fighters in mixed martial arts. Competing in the UFC's featherweight division, he is celebrated for his devastating boxing, impeccable grappling, and an unbeaten record that highlights his dominance. Born on January 21st, 1997 in Halle, Germany, to Georgian parents, Topuria moved to Spain at a young age, where he began his journey in combat sports. Starting with judo and wrestling, he transitioned to MMA and has since become a formidable force in the sport. Career overview. Topuria's professional MMA career began in 2015, and he quickly amassed a string of impressive victories. His early fights showcased his grappling abilities as he racked up submission wins using techniques like the guillotine choke and rear naked choke. Topuria entered the UFC in 2020, making an immediate impact with a unanimous decision win over Youssef Zalal. Since then, he has remained undefeated, earning a record of 140 with 12 finishes, 4 by knockout and 8 by submission. His remarkable rise to the top of the featherweight division saw him claim the championship with a spectacular knockout victory over Alexander Volkanovski. The bout was a career-defining moment, as Topuria landed a devastating punch in the second round to unseat one of the division's greatest champions. He later defended his title with another stunning performance, this time against Max Holloway. In that fight, Topuria's superior boxing overwhelmed the former champion, culminating in a decisive finish. Topuria's striking. Mastering the art of boxing in MMA. What sets Topuria apart in the MMA landscape is his elite boxing. His striking is characterized by precision, power, and versatility. Topuria excels at controlling range, using feints and footwork to create openings. His ability to mix strikes to the head and body, often transitioning fluidly between the two, is a hallmark of his style. Unlike many MMA fighters who rely solely on volume or power, Topuria combines the two, making him both efficient and lethal. One of his best boxing performances came against Jai Herbert at UFC Fight Night 204. Facing adversity early after being rocked by a head kick, Topuria showcased his resilience and adaptability. He adjusted his approach, working the body with vicious hooks before landing a thunderous right hand that secured a highlight reel knockout. This performance demonstrated not only his power, but also his composure under pressure and ability to recover. In his fight against Josh Emmett at UFC on ABC 5, Topuria displayed his boxing in its most refined form. Over 5 rounds, he outstruck Emmett with clean, precise combinations while avoiding significant damage. This performance was a masterclass in striking, as Topuria controlled the fight from start to finish, demonstrating his ability to manage pace, distance, and pressure effectively. Grappling, a complement to his boxing. While Topuria's boxing often grabs the headlines, his grappling is equally impressive. A black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he is highly adept at submissions and ground control. His win over Bryce Mitchell at UFC 282 showcased his ability to blend striking with grappling seamlessly. After outboxing Mitchell on the feet, Topuria transitioned to the ground, where he secured a second-round arm triangle choke. This fight exemplified his versatility and capacity to dominate opponents in any phase of the fight. Notable wins and career highlights. Alexander Volkanovski. Topuria shocked the MMA world by defeating Volkanovski, one of the most dominant featherweight champions in history, with a second-round knockout to claim the featherweight title. Max Holloway. In his first title defense, Topuria demonstrated superior boxing and finishing ability, defeating the legendary former champion via knockout in a fight that solidified his reign. Josh Emmett. This 5-round clinic was a testament to Topuria's evolution as a fighter, combining his striking, movement, and fight IQ to dominate a top-tier opponent. Ryan Hall. Topuria neutralized Hall's unorthodox grappling with smart striking and positional awareness, earning a first-round knockout victory. Damon Jackson. In this fight, Topuria showcased his boxing prowess, finishing Jackson with precision strikes that overwhelmed his opponent. Potential weaknesses. While Topuria's record is flawless, no fighter is without areas to improve. His aggressive style sometimes leaves him open to counters, as seen in moments of his fight against Herbert. However, his ability to adapt mid-fight and his strong grappling base often mitigate these vulnerabilities. Overall assessment. Ilia Topuria is one of the most complete fighters in the featherweight division. His boxing is arguably the best in the division, combining power, precision, and tactical brilliance. Paired with his grappling expertise, he is a legitimate threat to any opponent. Topuria's ability to seamlessly integrate striking and grappling makes him a nightmare matchup for anyone in the UFC. His wins over Volkanovski and Holloway, two of the greatest fighters in the division's history, underscore his potential to dominate for years to come. In conclusion, Ilia Topuria's career is a testament to his technical proficiency, determination, and versatility. With a perfect record and a growing list of dominant performances, El Matador is a fighter to watch as he ascends toward the pinnacle of MMA. Lightweight. Dustin Poirier, known as The Diamond, has had a remarkable career in mixed martial arts, solidifying his legacy as one of the sport's most well-rounded and durable fighters. Born on January 19, 1989 in Lafayette, Louisiana, Poirier began his professional MMA journey in 2009, quickly building a reputation for his relentless aggression and technical precision. Over the years, he has honed his skills to become one of the best boxers in MMA, combining sharp striking with grit and adaptability. But career highlights and best wins. Poirier's journey in the UFC began in 2011 following the merger of World Extreme Cage Fighting, WEC, with the UFC. Early in his career, he demonstrated his grappling prowess, notably defeating Max Holloway via submission in 2012. This victory marked the start of a series of thrilling performances against top-tier opponents. One of his most significant wins came against Holloway again in 2019, when Poirier claimed the interim UFC lightweight championship. This fight was a 5-round war where Poirier's boxing shone, utilizing combinations, counters, and relentless pressure to break Holloway's 13-fight win streak. Another standout performance was his TKO victory over Justin Gaethje in 2018, where Poirier showcased his durability and boxing accuracy in a high-paced brawl. Poirier also etched his name into MMA history with his rivalry against Conor McGregor. After losing their first encounter in 2014, Poirier bounced back in 2021 with a second-round TKO victory at UFC 257. He followed this with another win in their trilogy bout at UFC 264, cementing his place as a top lightweight. Boxing in MMA. Poirier's boxing is widely regarded as among the best in the sport. His striking style is defined by crisp combinations, fluid movement, and a high fight IQ. He seamlessly mixes head and body shots, often overwhelming opponents with his volume and precision. His adaptability in the cage has been critical, as seen in his win over Dan Hooker in 2020, where he adjusted mid-fight to outlast his opponent in a brutal battle. Losses and lessons. Despite his success, Poirier has faced setbacks that shaped his career. Losses to elite fighters like Khabib Nurmagomedov and Charles Oliveira highlighted challenges in his grappling defense. However, these defeats only reinforce Poirier's resolve as he has consistently rebounded with improved performances, demonstrating his growth and resilience. Legacy and overall assessment. Dustin Poirier's career is a testament to perseverance, skill development, and adaptability. His boxing and MMA is a standout skill that has earned him victories over some of the best fighters in the lightweight division. Beyond his in-cage achievements, Poirier is also celebrated for his charitable work through the Good Fight Foundation, further solidifying his status as a role model in the sport. Poirier remains a top contender in the UFC lightweight division and continues to be a fan favorite due to his exciting fight style and relentless determination. Whether he eventually claims the undisputed lightweight title or not, his career is already a shining example of what it means to succeed in MMA. Welterweight? Now, the career of Jack Della Maddalena, a rising star in MMA with exceptional boxing skills. Jack Della Maddalena is one of the most exciting prospects in mixed martial arts, MMA today, known for his crisp and technical boxing skills, which have set him apart in a sport that blends striking and grappling disciplines. Competing in the UFC's welterweight division, Della Maddalena has quickly garnered attention for his precision, power, and ability to control fights on the feet. In this essay, we'll explore his career trajectory, his notable wins and losses, and analyze how his boxing has become a defining aspect of his success in MMA. Early career and development. Hailing from Perth, Australia, Jack Della Maddalena started as a rugby player before transitioning to MMA. He began his pro career in 2016 and, like many fighters, faced challenges early on. His first two professional fights ended in losses, which could have discouraged many young athletes. However, Della Maddalena took these setbacks as learning experiences, improving his skills and addressing his weaknesses. These early defeats, one via submission and one via decision, highlighted the gaps in his game at the time, particularly in grappling and defensive positioning. After those initial losses, Della Maddalena embarked on an extraordinary win streak. His ability to learn, adapt, and improve was evident as he strung together multiple victories in the Australian regional MMA scene. His performances caught the attention of Dana White's Contender Series, DWCS, the proving ground for many future UFC stars. In 2021, Della Maddalena earned his UFC contract after a dominant performance on DWCS, showcasing his elite striking and ability to handle high-pressure situations. Jack Della Maddalena's style, boxing in MMA. What makes Della Maddalena stand out is his exceptional boxing. While MMA striking often diverges from traditional boxing due to the need to account for kicks, clinches, and takedowns, Della Maddalena has adapted boxing fundamentals to thrive in the chaotic environment of the octagon. His style is rooted in precise combinations. Della Maddalena rarely throws one punch at a time. He strings together fluid combinations, making it difficult for opponents to predict his next move. Footwork and angles. His ability to control distance and create openings by angling off after exchanges is a hallmark of elite boxing. This allows him to avoid counters while staying in position to deliver his own offense. Body shots. One of the most devastating aspects of his game is his commitment to body punches. Many MMA fighters neglect body shots, but Della Maddalena uses them effectively to wear down opponents and open up opportunities for head strikes. Calm under pressure. Della Maddalena exhibits composure during exchanges, rarely overextending or leaving himself vulnerable. This poise allows him to capitalize on his opponent's mistakes. Notable wins and performances. Since joining the UFC, Della Maddalena has delivered several standout performances that highlight his striking brilliance. Some of his most notable victories include 1. Ramazan Emeev, UFC 275, June 2022. In his UFC debut, Jack Della Maddalena faced Ramazan Emeev, a well-rounded and experienced grappler. Many expected Emeev to use his wrestling to neutralize Della Maddalena's striking, but the Australian showed remarkable composure. After defending a deep submission attempt early in the fight, Della Maddalena landed a crushing liver shot, finishing Emeev with a flurry of strikes in the first round. This performance demonstrated his durability, ability to recover, and devastating power. 2. Danny Roberts, UFC Fight Night, November 2022. Against Danny Roberts, Della Maddalena put on a boxing clinic. He overwhelmed Roberts with a barrage of clean, precise punches, showcasing his superior technical skills and ability to cut off the cage. The fight ended via first-round TKO, solidifying his reputation as one of the most dangerous strikers in the welterweight division. 3. Randy Brown, UFC 284, February 2023. Fighting on home soil in Australia, Della Maddalena faced Randy Brown, a tall and rangy fighter known for his awkward striking and grappling. Della Maddalena made quick work of Brown, closing the distance effectively and dropping him with a right hook. He followed up with a rear-naked choke to secure the first-round submission victory. This fight highlighted his ability to adapt and finish fights in different ways. Losses and learning experiences. Della Maddalena's professional record includes 2 losses, both of which came at the very beginning of his career. These losses were pivotal in his development. First loss, 2016. His MMA debut ended in a submission loss, exposing weaknesses in his grappling defense. Second loss, 2016. A decision loss in his second fight highlighted the need for improved conditioning and overall fight IQ. Rather than being setbacks, these losses became the foundation for his growth. Since then, Della Maddalena has been undefeated, showcasing his resilience and dedication to improvement. How good is Jack Della Maddalena? Jack Della Maddalena is among the best boxers in MMA today, particularly in the welterweight division. His striking is not only technically sound, but also highly effective in the context of MMA, where factors like small gloves, takedowns, and clinches come into play. His ability to seamlessly blend boxing fundamentals with MMA-specific adaptations makes him a dangerous opponent for anyone in the division. Strengths: elite striking. His boxing stands out as one of the most polished in the sport. Few fighters in the welterweight division can match his precision and timing. Fight IQ. Della Maddalena is a cerebral fighter who makes adjustments in real time and capitalizes on his opponent's mistakes. Durability. He has shown the ability to absorb damage and recover quickly, a critical trait for long-term success in MMA. Areas for improvement. Grappling. While his takedown defense has improved significantly, elite wrestlers and grapplers may still pose a challenge. Level of competition. As of now, Della Maddalena has yet to face the top-ranked fighters in the division. His performances against elite contenders will determine how far he can go. Best boxing performances in MMA. Della Maddalena's fight against Danny Roberts is arguably his best boxing performance to date. In that fight, he displayed everything that makes his striking elite: sharp combinations, body shots, cage control, and finishing ability. His ability to overwhelm Roberts without taking unnecessary risks showcased his mastery of distance and timing. The fight against Randy Brown also deserves recognition for his clean striking and ability to set up the finish. While the fight ended with a submission, it was his boxing that created the opportunity. Conclusion: the future of Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della Maddalena is a true rising star in MMA, and his boxing skills make him a standout in the welterweight division. While his career is still in its early stages, his ability to dominate fights with striking and adapt to different challenges suggests he has the potential to become a future title contender. As he continues to face tougher competition, it will be exciting to see how his skills evolve and whether he can maintain his dominance against the elite of the division. For now, Jack Della Maddalena is one of the most promising and entertaining fighters to watch, and his performances are a testament to the power of discipline, resilience, and technical excellence in MMA. Now, middleweight. The career of Sean Strickland. a unique fighter, and his proficient boxing in MMA. Sean Strickland is one of the most fascinating and polarizing figures in mixed martial arts MMA today. Known for his outspoken personality and unorthodox fighting style, Strickland has carved out a successful career in the UFC while relying heavily on his boxing skills. Competing in the middleweight division, Strickland's relentless pressure, strong jab, and defensive striking have allowed him to find success against some of the best fighters in the world. In this essay, we'll delve into his career trajectory, his notable wins and losses, and evaluate how his boxing skills shape his MMA game. We will also highlight his best boxing performances and assess his overall standing in the sport. Early career and background. Sean Strickland began his professional MMA career in 2008 at just 17 years old, fighting primarily in the King of the Cage promotion. Strickland quickly made a name for himself with a string of dominant performances, eventually capturing the King of the Cage middleweight title. Over the course of his early career, Strickland was known for his well-rounded skill set, a mix of striking and grappling that made him a dangerous opponent. In 2014, Strickland made his UFC debut, defeating Bubba McDaniel via rear naked choke. However, it wasn't until later in his career that Strickland's boxing heavy striking style truly became the hallmark of his game. Early on, he showcased his grappling and submission abilities, but as his career progressed, he increasingly relied on his boxing, evolving into one of the most prolific pressure fighters in the sport. Evolution of Sean Strickland's boxing in MMA. Sean Strickland is not a conventional boxer in the sense of having a flashy or technical style. Instead, his boxing effectiveness in MMA is built on a unique set of attributes: relentless pressure. Strickland thrives on walking his opponents down, forcing them to fight off their back foot. His ability to maintain constant forward pressure disrupts their rhythm and limits their offensive opportunities. Volume striking. Unlike many MMA fighters who rely on single power shots, Strickland's boxing is built on high output. He throws a steady stream of punches, often overwhelming opponents with sheer volume rather than relying on knockout power. The jab. Strickland's jab is the centerpiece of his boxing. He uses it to control range, frustrate opponents, and set up combinations. His jab is one of the most effective in the UFC, particularly in the middleweight division. Defense. While Strickland doesn't use traditional head movement or evasive footwork, he has a highly effective defensive style. He uses a high guard to block punches and relies on his understanding of range to avoid absorbing clean shots. Durability and stamina. Strickland's cardio and toughness allow him to maintain his pace for all 5 rounds, making him a difficult puzzle for opponents to solve. What makes Strickland's boxing so effective in MMA is not just his technique, but his ability to integrate it into a broader strategy. He rarely overextends, stays balanced, and forces opponents into prolonged exchanges where his volume and composure give him an edge. Notable wins and performances. Sean Strickland's career is defined by key victories that highlight his boxing skills and overall fighting ability. Below are some of his most significant wins. 1. Jack Hermanson, UFC Fight Night, February 2022. This fight showcased Strickland's mastery of distance and volume striking. Against a tough grappler like Hermanson, Strickland used his jab to control the fight, landing consistently and frustrating his opponent. He maintained a high pace over 5 rounds, earning a unanimous decision victory. This performance highlighted how Strickland's boxing can neutralize even high-level grapplers by keeping the fight standing and dictating the range. 2. Uriah Hall, UFC Fight Night, July 2021. Strickland's fight against Uriah Hall was one of his best boxing performances in MMA. Known for his knockout power and dynamic striking, Hall struggled to deal with Strickland's relentless pressure and volume. Strickland's jab was once again the key weapon, keeping Hall on the back foot and preventing him from setting up his power shots. Strickland landed over 200 significant strikes in the fight, showcasing his cardio and ability to dominate over 5 rounds. 3. Abus Magomedov, UFC Fight Night, July 2023. This fight was another example of Strickland's ability to break opponents with pressure and boxing. After weathering an early storm from Magomedov, Strickland turned up the pace, landing clean punches and wearing his opponent down. The fight ended with a TKO in the second round, demonstrating Strickland's ability to adapt and capitalize on openings. 4. Israel Adesanya, UFC 293, September 2023. In one of the most shocking upsets in UFC history, Strickland defeated reigning middleweight champion Israel Adesanya to claim the title. Adesanya, known for his elite striking and kickboxing pedigree, struggled to deal with Strickland's pressure and boxing fundamentals. Strickland's jab and defensive skills allowed him to neutralize Adesanya's offense, and his ability to walk the champion down without overcommitting was crucial. This fight solidified Strickland's place as one of the best boxers in MMA and showcased his ability to execute a game plan against a highly skilled striker. Losses and learning experiences. Strickland's career has not been without setbacks. Some of his notable losses include 1. Kamaru Usman, UFC 210, April 2017. Strickland faced former welterweight champion Kamaru Usman in a fight that exposed the limitations of his grappling defense. Usman's wrestling and physicality were too much for Strickland, who struggled to keep the fight standing. This loss highlighted the challenges Strickland faced against elite grapplers earlier in his career. 2. Alex Pereira, UFC Fight Night, July 2022. Strickland's fight against Alex Pereira ended in a first-round knockout loss. Pereira, a former Glory kickboxing champion with immense power, capitalized on Strickland's high-guard, pressure-heavy style. Strickland's decision to stand and trade with Pereira proved costly, as he was caught with a left hook that ended the fight. While these losses exposed certain vulnerabilities, they also served as valuable lessons. Strickland has since adjusted his approach, particularly in fights against dangerous strikers. Best boxing performances in MMA. Strickland's fights against Jack Hermanson and Uriah Hall stand out as his best boxing performances in MMA. In both fights, he showcased his ability to control the pace, dictate the range, and dominate with volume striking. His jab was the key weapon in both matchups, repeatedly landing clean shots and preventing his opponents from mounting significant offense. His performance against Israel Adesanya is arguably his crowning achievement. Strickland's boxing fundamentals were on full display as he used his jab, defensive guard, and relentless pressure to outstrike one of the best kickboxers in MMA. The fight demonstrated not just his technical skills, but also his composure and ability to execute a disciplined game plan. How good is Sean Strickland? Sean Strickland is one of the most effective boxers in MMA, particularly in the middleweight division. While his style may not be flashy, it is highly effective. His success is built on 1. Pressure and pace. Few fighters can match Strickland's ability to maintain constant pressure and output over 5 rounds. 2. Jab mastery. His jab is one of the best in the sport, serving as both an offensive and defensive tool. 3. Durability. Strickland's toughness and ability to absorb damage make him a difficult opponent for anyone to finish. However, Strickland's style does have limitations. Against elite grapplers or heavy hitters like Alex Pereira, his pressure-heavy approach can leave him vulnerable. Additionally, his lack of diverse striking weapons, such as kicks or elbows, means he relies heavily on his hands. Conclusion: the legacy of Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland's career is a testament to the effectiveness of boxing in MMA when paired with relentless pressure and high fight IQ. While he may not have the flashiest style, his fundamentals, cardio, and mental toughness make him one of the most dangerous fighters in the middleweight division. His victory over Israel Adesanya solidified his place as one of the top fighters in the sport and showcased how effective his boxing can be at the highest level. In a sport dominated by well-rounded athletes, Strickland's ability to excel with a boxing-heavy style is impressive. Moving forward, it will be exciting to see how he continues to evolve and whether he can maintain his status as the middleweight champion. For now, Sean Strickland has proven that his unique approach to MMA is not only effective, but also capable of producing some of the biggest upsets in the sport's history. Light heavyweight. The career of Alex Pereira, a kickboxing legend's transition to MMA and his elite striking. Alex Pereira, often referred to by his nickname Poatan, which means stone hands in his native Portuguese, is one of the most dangerous strikers in MMA today. Known for his elite kickboxing pedigree and devastating knockout power, Pereira has seamlessly transitioned from a legendary kickboxing career to becoming a force in mixed martial arts. With his technical precision and knockout ability, Pereira's striking, particularly his boxing, has made him a standout in both the middleweight and light heavyweight divisions. In this essay, we'll explore his career path, notable victories and losses, and analyze how his boxing skills have played a pivotal role in his success in MMA. We'll also highlight his best boxing performances and assess his overall abilities as a fighter. Early career, kickboxing to MMA transition. Alex Pereira began his combat sports journey as a professional kickboxer, where he established himself as one of the greatest to ever compete in the sport. His kickboxing career includes multiple Glory kickboxing titles, where he became a two-division champion at middleweight and light heavyweight. Pereira also holds the distinction of being the only fighter to knock out Israel Adesanya in kickboxing, a feat that would later become a key storyline in his MMA career. Pereira transitioned to MMA in 2015, but his early run was sporadic, as he remained focused on kickboxing. After losing his MMA debut by submission, a common challenge for striking specialists entering the sport, Pereira returned to MMA in 2020 and began developing his grappling and wrestling to complement his striking. His success in the sport skyrocketed when he signed with the UFC in 2021, quickly climbing the ranks in the middleweight division thanks to his lethal striking and unparalleled knockout ability. Alex Pereira's style, the role of boxing in his MMA success. Pereira's striking in MMA is deeply rooted in his kickboxing background, but his boxing in particular stands out as an essential component of his success. While many kickboxers struggle to adapt their striking to MMA due to the smaller gloves, takedown threats, and different ranges, Pereira has made the transition look seamless. His boxing is defined by the following key attributes. 1. Devastating power. Pereira's nickname Stone Hands is well earned. His punches, particularly his left hook, are among the most powerful in MMA. He has the ability to end fights with a single strike, making him a constant threat to opponents. 2. Technical precision. Pereira's boxing is not just about raw power, but also incredible accuracy. He places his punches with surgical precision, often exploiting openings in his opponent's defenses with minimal wasted movement. 3. Effective use of range. Pereira controls the distance masterfully, using his height, 6'4", and reach to keep opponents at bay. His jab, straight punches, and ability to step into range for hooks and uppercuts make him exceptionally dangerous. 4. Knockout combinations. While his left hook is his signature weapon, Pereira's ability to chain punches together in combinations sets him apart. He mixes body and head shots effectively, keeping his opponents guessing. 5. Calm composure. Pereira rarely rushes or overcommits. His calculated approach allows him to patiently set up his strikes and capitalize on mistakes, even in high-pressure situations. Notable wins and performances. Alex Pereira has had several defining moments in his career, with some of his victories cementing his reputation as one of the best strikers in MMA. 1. Andreas Michailidis, UFC 268, November 2021. Pereira's UFC debut was one for the highlight reels. After a cautious first round where Michailidis tried to wrestle him, Pereira landed a spectacular flying knee in the second round, showcasing his athleticism and striking creativity. This fight served as a warning to the division about his knockout power and dynamic striking. 2. Sean Strickland, UFC 276, July 2022. This fight is widely regarded as one of Pereira's best boxing performances in MMA. Facing a pressure fighter in Sean Strickland, Pereira displayed incredible composure and timing. Strickland, known for his durability, made the mistake of walking forward without respecting Pereira's power. Pereira capitalized with a perfectly timed left hook that dropped Strickland, followed by a quick finishing sequence. This first round KO solidified Pereira as a top contender and highlighted his ability to dismantle opponents with his boxing. 3. Israel Adesanya, UFC 281, November 2022. In one of the most anticipated fights in recent memory, Pereira faced longtime rival Israel Adesanya for the UFC middleweight title. The fight was a showcase of elite striking, with Adesanya controlling much of the early rounds. However, Pereira's power was the difference. In the fifth round, with Adesanya ahead on the scorecards, Pereira landed a brutal left hook that rocked the champion, followed by a flurry of punches to secure the TKO victory. This performance highlighted Pereira's ability to stay dangerous at all times, his finishing instincts, and his boxing precision under pressure. 4. Jan Blachowicz, UFC 291, July 2023. Moving up to light heavyweight, Pereira faced former champion Jan Blachowicz in a closely contested fight. While grappling played a role in this bout, Pereira's striking, particularly his boxing, was critical in securing the decision victory. He landed clean punches and controlled much of the stand-up exchanges, showing that his striking translates well across weight classes. Losses and learning experiences. Pereira's career has not been without setbacks, but these losses have been critical in shaping him as a fighter. 1. Comuel Otoni, 2015. Pereira's MMA debut ended in a submission loss, exposing his lack of grappling experience at the time. This defeat underscored the challenges faced by striking specialists transitioning to MMA. It also motivated Pereira to improve his takedown defense and ground skills. 2. Israel Adesanya, UFC 287, April 2023. In his rematch with Adesanya for the middleweight title, Pereira suffered his first loss in the UFC via a second-round knockout. After a competitive first round, Pereira became over-aggressive in the second, leaving an opening for Adesanya to counter with a right hook that ended the fight. This loss highlighted the risks of his forward-pressing style against an elite counter-striker. While these losses expose certain vulnerabilities, Pereira has shown a willingness to adapt and improve, particularly in his defensive grappling and overall fight IQ. Best boxing performances in MMA. Pereira's boxing has been on full display in several fights, but his performance against Sean Strickland remains the gold standard. In this fight, Pereira utilized his jab to control range, set traps, and ultimately land one of the cleanest left hooks in MMA history. The knockout was a masterclass in timing and precision, showcasing Pereira's ability to deliver devastating results with minimal effort. His fight against Israel Adesanya at UFC 281 also demonstrated his boxing prowess. While Adesanya's striking was competitive, Pereira's power and ability to capitalize on openings ultimately turned the tide. The finishing sequence, which started with a left hook, was a testament to his boxing fundamentals and killer instinct. How good is Alex Pereira? Alex Pereira is one of the best strikers in MMA history, and his boxing plays a central role in his success. While his striking is rooted in kickboxing, his boxing techniques, particularly his left hook and precision punching, are among the most effective in the sport. Pereira's transition to MMA has been remarkably successful, and his ability to adapt his striking to the smaller gloves and unique challenges of the sport is a testament to his skill and athleticism. Strengths. 1. Unparalleled power. Few fighters possess the one-punch knockout ability that Pereira has. 2. Technical mastery. His ability to place punches with precision makes him a threat at all times. 3. Composure under pressure. Pereira remains calm and calculated even in difficult situations. 4. Adaptability. He has improved his grappling and takedown defense to complement his striking. Weaknesses. 1. Grappling vulnerabilities. While improved, his ground game is still not on par with elite grapplers. 2. Over-aggressiveness. As seen in the Adesanya rematch, Pereira's forward pressure can leave him open to counters. Conclusion. The legacy of Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira is a striking phenom who has already left a significant mark on both kickboxing and MMA. His boxing skills, particularly his devastating left hook and precision striking, have been instrumental in his rise to the top of the UFC. Pereira's ability to adapt his striking to MMA and compete at the highest level in multiple weight classes speaks to his exceptional talent and work ethic. While his grappling remains a potential vulnerability, Pereira's striking is so dangerous that many opponents struggle to implement their game plans against him. His wins over Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland solidify his status as one of the most feared fighters in the sport. As Pereira continues his MMA journey, he has the potential to further cement his legacy as one of the greatest strikers in combat sports history. Heavyweight. The career of Tom Aspinall, a heavyweight phenomenon with exceptional boxing in MMA. Tom Aspinall is one of the most exciting and dynamic heavyweights in mixed martial arts, MMA, today. The British fighter has rapidly climbed the ranks of the UFC's heavyweight division, showcasing a unique combination of size, speed, athleticism, and technical proficiency. Although he is a well-rounded martial artist with a strong grappling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu (BJJ) background, it's his boxing that has been the cornerstone of his MMA success. Aspinall's hands are fast, precise, and powerful, making him one of the most dangerous strikers in the heavyweight division. This essay will explore Aspinall's career trajectory, highlight his notable wins and losses, and assess how good he is at boxing in MMA, with an analysis of his best boxing performances. Early career and transition to the UFC. Tom Aspinall was born into a martial arts family in Wigan, England, with his father being a BJJ black belt who owned a gym. Aspinall grew up training in martial arts, eventually specializing in BJJ and becoming a black belt himself. However, he also trained extensively in boxing, even working as a sparring partner for heavyweight boxing champion Tyson Fury. This experience honed his striking skills and gave him a deep understanding of the art of boxing that few MMA fighters possess. Aspinall began his professional MMA career in 2014. Early on, his fights didn't last long, as he quickly dismantled opponents with his powerful and precise striking. Despite showing promise, he took a 2-year hiatus from competition to focus on his development as a fighter. When he returned to MMA, he began to dominate the regional scene in Europe, earning a reputation as a heavyweight prospect to watch. In 2020, Aspinall signed with the UFC, entering the biggest stage of MMA. Since then, he has impressed fans and analysts alike with his speed, technical skill, and ability to finish fights quickly. Tom Aspinall's style, the role of boxing in his MMA success. Aspinall's boxing is one of the most polished in the heavyweight division. While many heavyweights rely on raw power and brawling, Aspinall's striking is rooted in technical precision, fluid movement, and speed. Here are the key aspects of his boxing. 1. Hand speed. Aspinall's hand speed is rare for a heavyweight. His punches are fast, crisp, and accurate, allowing him to land clean shots before opponents can react. 2. Combination striking. Unlike many heavyweights who rely on single power punches, Aspinall throws fluid combinations. He mixes up his strikes to the head and body, keeping opponents guessing and unable to predict his attacks. 3. Footwork and movement. Aspinall moves like a much smaller fighter. His ability to close the distance quickly, angle off after exchanges, and avoid counters is a testament to his refined footwork. 4. Power and precision. While Aspinall doesn't rely solely on knockout power, he certainly has it. His punches land with precision, often catching opponents cleanly and leading to quick finishes. 5. Adaptability. Aspinall's boxing is complemented by his overall MMA skill set, including his grappling. His ability to transition from striking to grappling makes him a well-rounded threat. Notable wins and performances. Aspinall has delivered several standout performances that highlight his boxing skills and overall MMA prowess. Below are his most notable victories. 1. Jake Collier, UFC Fight Night, July 2020. Aspinall's UFC debut was a statement victory. He faced Jake Collier, a durable and experienced fighter, and finished him in just 45 seconds. Aspinall's boxing was on full display, as he landed a clean right hand that rocked Collier before finishing the fight with a flurry of punches. This fight showcased his hand speed and ability to overwhelm opponents with precise and powerful strikes. 2. Andrei Arlovski, UFC Fight Night, February 2021. Facing former UFC heavyweight champion Andrei Arlovski was a significant step up in competition for Aspinall. In the first round, Aspinall outboxed Arlovski, landing clean combinations and staggering the veteran with his speed and power. While the fight ended via submission, rear-naked choke, in the second round, it was Aspinall's boxing that set up the finish. His ability to dominate an experienced striker like Arlovski demonstrated his striking pedigree. 3. Sergey Spivak, UFC Fight Night, September 2021. Against Sergey Spivak, a tough grappler known for his durability, Aspinall showcased his boxing once again. He landed a devastating elbow followed by clean punches to secure a first-round TKO. This fight highlighted Aspinall's ability to mix up his strikes and finish fights quickly. 4. Alexander Volkov, UFC Fight Night, March 2022. The fight against Alexander Volkov was one of Aspinall's career-defining performances. Volkov, a top contender and seasoned striker, posed a significant challenge. Aspinall, however, made it look easy. His boxing was sharp and precise as he landed clean punches and combinations. While the fight ended with a first-round armbar submission, it was Aspinall's striking that set the pace and overwhelmed Volkov. This win cemented Aspinall as a legitimate title contender. 5. Marcin Tybura, UFC Fight Night, July 2023. After recovering from a knee injury that had sidelined him for nearly a year, Aspinall returned to face Marcin Tybura. In this fight, Aspinall delivered one of his most dominant performances. He blitzed Tybura with speed and power, landing a clean right hand that dropped him before finishing the fight with ground and pound in just over a minute. This victory reaffirmed Aspinall's status as one of the fastest and most technical strikers in the heavyweight division. Losses and learning experiences. Aspinall's professional record includes only a single notable loss in the UFC. Curtis Blades, UFC Fight Night, July 2022. Aspinall faced Curtis Blades in a highly anticipated fight that ended in disappointment. Just 15 seconds into the bout, Aspinall suffered a freak knee injury, forcing the fight to end via TKO. While this wasn't a true reflection of either fighter's abilities, it was a significant setback for Aspinall, as it temporarily halted his momentum. The loss, however, served as a learning experience and a test of his resilience as he worked his way back from injury. Best boxing performances. 1. Andrei Arlovski. The fight against Arlovski was a showcase of Aspinall's technical boxing. He landed clean combinations with speed and precision, causing visible damage to the former champion. His ability to pick apart a veteran striker like Arlovski was a testament to his boxing skill. 2. Marcin Tybura. Aspinall's fight with Tybura was a masterclass in offensive boxing. He landed a perfectly timed right hand that dropped Tybura, followed by a barrage of punches to secure the finish. This performance highlighted Aspinall's hand speed and ability to capitalize on openings. 3. Jake Collier. Aspinall's UFC debut against Jake Collier was an explosive display of his boxing prowess. The clean right hand that rocked Collier was a perfect example of Aspinall's power and precision. How good is Tom Aspinall? Tom Aspinall is widely regarded as one of the best boxers in the heavyweight division of MMA. His combination of speed, power, and technical skill is rare, especially in a division where many fighters rely on brute force rather than finesse. Here's an assessment of his strengths and weaknesses. Strengths. 1. Technical boxing. Aspinall's boxing fundamentals are outstanding. His ability to throw combinations, control range, and land accurately sets him apart from most heavyweights. 2. Speed. His hand speed is unmatched in the heavyweight division, allowing him to land punches before opponents can react. 3. Well-rounded game. While his boxing is exceptional, Aspinall is also a skilled grappler, making him a true mixed martial artist. 4. Fight IQ. Aspinall fights intelligently, adapting his strategy to exploit his opponent's weaknesses. Areas for improvement. Injury recovery. The knee injury he suffered against Curtis Blades raised questions about his durability, though his dominant return against Tybura suggests he has fully recovered. Elite competition. While Aspinall has beaten high-level opponents, he has yet to face the absolute elite of the heavyweight division, such as John Jones or Cyril Gane. Conclusion. A future champion in the making. Tom Aspinall is one of the brightest stars in the UFC heavyweight division, and his boxing is a major reason why. His speed, precision, and technical ability make him a nightmare matchup for almost anyone in the division. With his well-rounded skill set and rapid improvement, Aspinall has the potential to become a future UFC heavyweight champion. His best boxing performances, particularly against Marcin Tybura, Andrei Arlovski, and Jake Collier, demonstrate his ability to dominate opponents with clean, efficient striking. As he faces tougher competition in the future, it will be exciting too. Thanks for watching.